Hello and welcome to this segment of The Connected Musician. My name is Brad Balliett and I'm a composer and bassoon player and a teaching artist, and I'm also an alum of Ensemble Connect. And I understand that you are gearing up to put together a musical snapshot, and you're thinking about ways to introduce a piece of art to an audience that you may or may not know. And the goal, of course, is to help that audience have a meaningful artistic experience. Now, if you've seen the previous videos in this series with Eric Booth, then you'll recall that he talked about the entry point, the first tool in the teaching artist's toolbox. Let's review real quick. The entry point is some aesthetic feature of the work of art you are presenting that you're going to focus on. This will give your snapshot some focus and guide the audience. It's the window that you're putting in the building so that people can see inside the art. Remember, the entry point should be important to you. You should have a feeling that it's going to be important to your audience. And it should be central in some way to the work of art. It's not going to be something random or tiny. And then you ask yourself, how do you draw your audience into the world of this entry point? So, let's get into it and come up with some strategies and starting points for choosing an entry point for a work of art. And before we get to the world of music, I want to get us loosened up by thinking about an art form that we don't necessarily think about every day. Let's put our brains in the world of visual art. So let's start by just brainstorming some potential entry points from the world of visual art so that we have a little running list, a place to start. A kind of brain dump, if you will. When I think about aesthetic features from the world of visual art, I think about things like line, color, perspective, proportion, balance, subject matter, shapes, and so on. Any one of these aspects of a work of art could be a really fruitful entry point, a way to guide your viewers as you introduce the piece. Do you have ideas for other potential entry points that are not on this list that I just made? Because I guarantee you, we did not exhaust the list of potential entry points. So next, let's take a good look at the work of art. Now here's one of my favorites, Hieronymus Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights. Just take a moment to observe this work. Don't even think about an entry point for a second. What moves you here? What do you notice? What draws you in? What is it about this work that makes you feel something? For me, I love these crazy little cartoon birds down here in the corner. It might be something totally different for you. But take a moment and make a little list for yourself of a couple of potential entry points that you find compelling here. Something you would be excited to draw people's attention to. You might want to check back in with your brain dump list, or you might not. You might discover something fresh and brand new just through the act of observing. So once you have your personal list of potential entry points, imagine an audience that you might be in front of. It could be an audience you know you'll be in front of soon, or an audience that you are interested in sharing things with, whether that's a classroom full of 10-year-olds, or your grandfather's friends at a retirement community, or the folks down at a resource center for the hearing impaired, really any audience. You just want to look at the entry points that you find so interesting, and circle the entry points that you have a hunch that they might find interesting as well. So now we've got a slightly narrowed down list to mull over and choose from. And soon, we can choose one and work on ways to engage your audience around that specific entry point so that they are living in that world before you even show them the work. And that's a topic we're going to be getting to in due time. So stay tuned for the next segment in which we move from the world of visual art to the world of music.